Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a Legacy video every Friday. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the Patreon. Here you can gain access to a continuously updated sideboard guide and primer on Legacy Doomsday, as well as being able to send private messages. You can join the Patreon by clicking the link in the video description or going to patreon.com/NebelShootMTG. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another Legacy video, and today I'm trying something fun. I'm playing a Grixis Doomsday list that was sent to me by one of my patrons, Nicolo. So Nicolo wanted to try out Spider Punk, which is a card from the Marvel whatever Spider-Man set that was just out, and it doesn't exist under that name on Magic Online due to some kind of rights issue, so it's called Crossa the Swarm as one. It's the same card. So why is this card interesting? Well, it's because of the third line of text. So the first line is Riot. The second line is that other spiders you control have Riot. None of those things are really that important. But then we have this line: spells and abilities can't be countered, and especially the abilities thing, because that is not something that I'm aware of us having access to before in Legacy. And it means that Thassa's Oracle's ETB trigger can't be countered. It can't be countered by Consign to Memory, by Stifle, by Tishana's Tidebinder. So that in itself is very appealing. So the reason I did not immediately rush to make a video with this card and include it and start testing with it is because it's red. So back in 2020 and 2021, a lot of us playing Doomsday, myself included, splashed red for Pyroblast. It was this sort of Oko blue-red Delver meta, and having access to Pyroblast was pretty, like a reasonable thing. I think right now, and it has that has been the case for a long time, there are just too many non-blue cards that are, deciding the format. So you have the One Ring, the Mystic Forge combo deck. You have a lot of the cards that matter out of the Dimir decks are black. So Orcish Bowmasters, Thoughtseize, and of course Entomb Reanimator. I guess, a little bit skeptical about how this is going to pan out, but I am going to try it, and it is a pretty light red splash. Also, like Crossa, I'm not really exactly or Crossa, sorry, I'm not really exactly sure where it shines for real because I think it is pretty common that removal spells in Legacy are modal or so efficient, or the decks playing them have enough of them that they don't board out all of them, or they keep some in versus Doomsday. Also because the Barrow-Goyf sideboard plan is somewhat a known quantity at this point. So I do worry that we put this in and then against the blue deck, and then they have removal for it. And the thing is, they can just sit on that removal. So if they have Consign to Memory and Source to Plowshares, they can just let us do all the things, and then once Thassa resolves and the trigger goes on the stack, they plow the Crossa and then they consign to memory the trigger. But that said, it is very interesting. So I like the effect itself. So I'm going to try it here. And I made a very small change to the list that was sent to me. I think I changed one of the lands. I went from 4 to 3 Underground Sea, and I added the 8th fetch land, the Bloodstained Mire. I don't think there were too many other things I messed with. But I think that's enough talk. Let's go see how this list plays out. All right, on the play for round number 1, let's see how we do. Oh, this is a nice hand. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to go turn 1 Ponder off of Fetch Underground Sea Ponder. That does open us up to Wasteland, but I think it is the correct thing to do, looking for the 3rd land that lets us Doomsday next turn if we don't get Wastelanded, and, just advancing our game plan in any case. Get an Underground Sea. So right now, Personal Tutor pitches to force. Oh, that was good. I think I take both land draws here. I'll draw the Bloodstained Mire. I will play out Lotus Petal. Like, in case I get Thoughtseized, I want to be able to daze and not get dazed back. I think the cost of letting them know that I'm a Lotus Petal deck is low enough that it is outweighed by the potential gain of what I just described. Volcanic Island, okay. Dragon's Race Channeler, right. So I will play out Bloodstained Mire, I think. I'll be at 8 anyways, or rather at 9 anyways. Though not if I have to Force of Will, but I think this is fine. Alright, let's put Doomsday on the stack. Okay, they daze. I'm going to let them surveil. I will daze back. They kept the card on top. They Force of Negation, okay. And now they put Force of Will into the graveyard. Or wait, did they put Flooded Strand into the graveyard? Yeah, no. They surveilled away 2 things, okay. I'll Force of Will, and really hope they don't have like a second Force of Will blue card. Alright, looks like we're getting to Doomsday here. Or what? Big pause here. Okay, no. That went fine. Cavern of Souls, Thassa's Oracle, 2 Edge of Autumns, and I think a Consider. Like, I think I'm going to value having the 2 life that it would otherwise cost me if I replace Consider with a Street Wraith. I don't think I'm punished by this if in case like unless they draw a Force of Will. So do we put Thassa on the bottom or Cavern? Like against any deck with Thoughtseize, it has to be Thassa on the bottom most times. I don't think it'll matter here, but I'm gonna put Thassa on the bottom. And I'll draw Consider and pass. Okay. Unfortunately for us, they didn't find a second card or a third card type. They have the instant and land right now. Doesn't mean they can't get to Delirium, but like if they go Island Ponder here, then or like Land Ponder. Okay, they find Wasteland. Okay. I will no, I'm gonna move to their turn in case they play 2 Force of Negations and drew 1. So I will cast this now. Put Edge of Autumn in the graveyard, and if they have a second Wasteland here, that's quite annoying. Okay, looks like they didn't. And now, hopefully we win, unless they're playing like main deck Consign Memory or Stifle. We go down to 6, we get our turn, we play Cavern of Souls, name Wizard. Cycle this Edge of Autumn, draw Thassa, and hopefully we win. Alright, cool. And we do win. So, let's bring in the Barrowgoyfs. Let's bring in... I think we bring in the red cards as well, because, like, Pyroblast is quite good at answering Murktide Regent. The question is, do we board out of Doomsday altogether? I think we can cut some Cyclers at least. Cut the LED. I think cutting Jace makes sense against the Pyroblast deck. I think we can cut the Personal Tutors. Where does that leave us in terms of blue count? 18 blue cards. I think also cutting some number of Force of Will makes sense. I think I'm just going to cut 2 Force of Will. And I do that because we're boarding into Pyroblast. So yeah. Let's try this. I am not very hopeful of Krossa, like, living here because they are a 4x Lightning Bolt deck. But we'll see. Yeah, I guess I'll keep this hand. A little bit concerned about one land and it being a duel, but I don't think we're supposed to send this back. Turn 1 DRC, strong, and a bobble. Bobbling me. Get a good look, buddy. Okay, so they know about Ponder. Let's Ponder. Oh, this is a shame. Like, almost good. I think I have to send this away. We can't, like, take Doomsday and then not see a Dark Ritual or another land for several turns. They have Wasteland. It's not so good. Alright, I'm gonna sack this to Edge of Autumn and cycle. Okay, we get Crossa, but no land. Yep, this is concerning. I have concerns. We don't draw land. Fuck. I guess I pass here and I put Consider in the graveyard. Yep. This should give them Delirium. They just need to find an instant or a creature in the top 2 cards. Oh, but they didn't, and they kept what was on top. That's probably not good for me either. But they got there anyways because they had the Survey land. So I don't think I can win this game. We do get a land here. Maybe I just Thoughtseize here to get some information. It does seem pretty unlikely that we'll be able to win. I suppose if I do top deck a Dark Ritual and they have nothing. Daze, you scoundrel. I will Daze back. Oh, they keep this stuff on top. Scary. Guess we take Force of Negation. Alright, so their hand is Ponder and 2 lands. And now they're drawing. Wonder what it is. Of something they wanted. Dark Ritual? Ooh. I don't think I can win anyways, right? Because I don't have like another cycler that I can use. Like I have, but I just made my land drops. And anyways, let's do this. I expect this to get countered, or for them to have Lightning Bolt or Consign to Memory or something. Big Pause and Dark Ritual, so they might just have found another Daze. Force of Will. Okay. All right. GG's. Let's go to the sideboard. And I don't think I do much here, or anything really. I just think I resubmit. Yeah, I mentioned I had concerns keeping a 1-lander, and I was punished. Okay, love this. I think they need something pretty specific to beat this. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but so the Goyf will be a 3/4 with land, artifact, and instant. So, like, Lightning Bolt isn't going to beat it. They would have. I think they would have to have double force right now to be ahead. Let's get basic swamp. We can even play off basics. Big pause on this Barrow Goy from the opponent. I think if you're them, you force if you have it. So, not sure if they're just posturing here or if they are considering using Force of Will. No. All right. Barrow Goy is in. Dragon's Rage, Chandler, sure. They might just have a hand that can try and outmuscle this, but yeah, we'll see. Mishra's Bauble, yeah. Put away Wasteland. Brainstorm is not bad. I think I will, like, I'll attack here and I'll see if they want to block, but I don't expect them to. And so with the Goyf trigger on the stack, I will cast Brainstorm because that sort of gets a shuffle. I could have crack the pedal to get 1 more damage in and 1 more dig, but I don't think that's something I want to do. Okay, I guess I will keep. What do I even? I kind of want all of this. Maybe I'll get rid of the Underground Sea and Dark Ritual. Yeah, I guess I don't have to, but no, I will. All right, and we pass. So now they know what's on top of my deck, but I don't. Harsh. Now my Goyf is bigger because of their artifacts. And yeah, they're kind of disincentivized almost to go for Delirium because that means putting more card types in the graveyard. Like, none of us have a sorcery or a creature right now, and they would need one of those to get Delirium, but that builds up Barrow Goyf. Okay. And they missed their land drop. Okay. I think I will just main phase this Brainstorm. There's a Doomsday, but do I really want to Doomsday at this point? I don't think so. I'll put away Underground Sea and Doomsday. Maybe I should have put away Petal and not Underground Sea. Yeah. Maybe that was a mistake. Like Underground Sea, like I have one Underground Sea now that I can fetch. I will still flip these. All right, let's put Volcanic Island. And I think I also just put Petal into play. Petal could be useful later on to like build Storm for Flusterstorm if I'm making a move on my turn, but I don't think I will be. I think this Flusterstorm is on defense. And also they have one land, so I don't think it's that important. DRC surveils. I'm not gonna like point Flusterstorm at Brainstorm here. I think it is now it's about protecting the queen here, protect Barrogoyf. As long as I do that, and I have Pyroblast for Murktide, then I'm good. Sad little 1/1 turn 4 1/1 DRC. Or turn 3 maybe from the opponent. Third petal. Okay, I'm not gonna play out the third petal. And now we have 4 card types. Because we got Doomsday as a sorcery. Alright, let's attack. And I will trigger this, see if we can hit a creature, but we didn't. Okay, pass the turn. I think it is quite awesome how good Barrogoyf is, and I think sometimes it sort of doesn't get that much mention because of all the other nonsense going on in Legacy. Meanwhile, they keep pondering. I wonder, like, their hand, is it just like all forces and dazes and stuff? Now DRZ has to attack. Yeah, there is a world where we lose this, where we have to expend our Flusterstorm on something that's not Unholy Heat, and then they Unholy Heat our Barrogoyf. Land. Okay, we can surveil with that if we want to. Okay, let's hit a creature. And we do, we hit Crossa. And I will just play Crossa here. And then I'll choose the +1/+1 counter. No reason to give haste. Oh shoot. I didn't read this. It's all spells and abilities that can't be countered? Holy shit. No! Now if they have Unholy Heat, they can just kill my my Barrogoyf. Oh, this is so silly. I thought this was asymmetrical. Because that's how they usually design cards these days. Oh well. So now my Flusterstorm is pretty weak. We have to hope it's not Unholy Heat, but that they're sitting on like Murktide Regent. Yeah. Come on, Murktide. Murky Murk. Oh, Petty Theft. I mean, this is just fine. This has to just be fine. But I mean, I just pretty much missed lethal here because if I hadn't played Crossa, they were forced to fight with DRC, and then I would have swung back. But oops. And I do get to just replay Goyf next turn, and then that can't be countered. But yeah, that was not ideal. And then they're all at 2 life. All right, let's get Undercity Sewers. What do I want to find ideally? Probably not Days. Thassa's Oracle. Okay. All right. I guess I just play Barrogoyf now. I don't think it matters if it's before or after combat. So now, if they have like land, Petty Theft, and Lightning Bolt, they get like feel really good about everything. There's land. That's step 1. Quarry Steel Cutter. Okay. Yeah, I mean that can prolong the game at least. I think being at 1 life can't feel very good, but I wouldn't be able to counter Quarry Steel Cutter anyways. Delver of Secrets. Okay. And then I think we still get to win here because I can Pyroblast the Delver. They have to attack with DRC. So it wasn't pretty, but well, you live and you learn. This is not ideal for the like protect the queen plan. All right, let's destroy target permanent if it's blue, and they concede. Sweet, off to winning start against the old enemy, blue-red Delver. Okay, on the play for round number 2. Sweet. All right. Well, I mean, in this sort of case, I will just personal tutor for Doomsday, and we'll see if we. Oh, Chancellor of the Annex. Does that change anything? I think this means we just have to play out Petal here and pay for it to not get like go a card down basically, or have to play awkwardly for the first bit of the game. This way we can brainstorm looking for Force of Will if that's that sort of matchup. I think it might be like mono white initiative, but I could be wrong. Yeah, does seem like initiative. All right, I think I will brainstorm and then I will probably personal tutor. Put back some of these lands. And then I think I just have to hope that their next play here is Archon of Emeria and not Anointed Peacekeeper. Yeah, here's Chromox probably imprinting Chancellor, I would guess. They must have just drawn that, or I guess they would have casted last turn. Or maybe they were like waiting for this, it's making the big play. Is this Caves of Chaos Adventurer? Yep. Alright. And I always forget how this works. So when it attacks, but that's not until next turn, so never mind. But when it does, you exile a tip card, and then you may play that card. And then if you complete the dungeon, you may play it for free. But it's like, if they could attack right now, they could flip a Chalice and play it on 0, and that would be pretty good. But as it is, they don't get to do that. And instead, I think I just get to win. Yeah, so we got lucky that they had a hand that went for aggro rather than a hand that went for prison, which is kind of those two modes that deck does, I think. Okay, so here's Doomsday. And we make the standard breadwinner pile here. Thassa on the bottom with a cycler on top, and then we need Brainstorm to be the top card here. So let's cycle into that. And we cast Brainstorm, then draw LED Consider and Cycler, and put back a blank and Consider. Put LED on top, and just cycle, maintaining priority, sacking LED for blue. We draw Consider, consider away the blank, and draw Thassa. So this is not a sideboard, or rather a matchup where the red cards do anything. So, I mean, I guess theoretically, like having Krasa means that Chalice of the Void can be gotten around, but I don't know that. Maybe. Well, let's see. I think we want Force of Negation because they are a Chalice of the Void deck, faux show. And then I think they showed us red. They could, like, some decks have Chalice of the Void and Pyroblast. Some of these types of Ancient Tomb deck, but maybe I'll board in one Krasa just for science. And I'll board out on the draw. I think the discard spells lose a lot of equity, and I also think like counter spells, because we just saw like Cavern of Souls. I think I keep in the Flusterstorm just in case they play something where we might care about it, like a Mindbreak Trap or something, and then we can board out a Daze. All right, let's try this. I think I probably will keep this, but I'm not thrilled. Like, anything involving Cavern of Souls here is a massive problem, and they kept 7. You could sometimes, like, it can be argued to Force of Will, like Chromox. Like, they could dump this out and then dump Cavern of Souls. Yeah, that is what they're doing. But I mean, I don't think I ever really feel good about taking that gamble. And this is a Archon of Emeria. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, people. All these fetch lands are killing me. All right, I will play a land tapped and play Lines Out Diamond, and then, like, if we can stop them from, like, getting more stuff into play here, I will Daze. It sucks with the lands, but I think I'm just gonna have to be able to take my medicine here with 2 damage return. Oh, they had a Spirit Guide. Fuck off. Ugh, I hate that. Okay, well, now I will force. And now I've lost my... Oh, I can't force because of Archon. That's how that card works. Yeah. Yeah, we're losing this game. I am actually just going to concede and save some time. Like, I have no lands that interplay untapped. They have the initiative. They're pounding me for, like, a million a turn. Yep. I feel like game 1, I was, like, the guy in the Indiana Jones movie with the saber, and like I'm doing all these intricate like this fancy you know, moving the saber around, like almost juggling it, and then they just pulled out their gun and shot me here in game two. It was over so fast. All right, let's hope for a good one. We can shoot a gun as well. Yeah, this the Flusterstorm less than ideal. Um, and they have a Chancellor, really? It's so annoying. But we are able to play around this. I would have pondered if I hadn't gotten Chancellored. I don't think they play Wasteland. They probably play like Magus of the Moon though, so we have to be mindful of that. But I will get Underground Sea here because that is the way I get to cast Doomsday on turn 2. I'll play the pedal and pay for it. All right. So if they go, I guess like turn 1 something like I'll totally let Archon of Emeria resolve, right? But if they go for something else that I have to counter, then I'll brainstorm. Okay. Like if they go for Mags of the Moon here, I think I probably have to brainstorm. So I'll cast Doomsday here. And then it's a question of do I put Force of Will on top? They haven't shown us Consign or Cavern of Souls. I think I might do that. Also, oh no, Cavern of Souls probably not good because of Archon. They would that also Cavern only really matters if they end up with like Chalice for 2, I guess. Okay, let's see here. Force of Will. Is there a way I can win next turn? I don't think so. Like, not if I want Force of Will. If I don't want Force of Will, then there is. But, like, they could play Disruptor Flute. They could play Archon of, not Archon, Anointed Peacekeeper, the Annoying Peacekeeper. It is a big gamble to put Force of Will in my hand if they, or in the deck, and postpone winning a turn if they actually have Cavern of Souls. Alright, let's see here. Basic Island. Maybe a Lotus Petal in case they have Magus of the Moon and a Cavern of Souls. How's this all gonna look? I cycle Street Wraith into Force of Will, and then I can put, I guess, Lotus Petal or like Basic Island on the bottom. The problem if I put Lotus Petal on the bottom and they end up with Magus of the Moon in play, then I've lost because Lotus Petal will be my spell for turn, and if it's the last card in the deck. But if I don't, then it's also postponing me a turn. I think I'll put Lotus Petal on the bottom, but then why did I even play it? I'll put it in the pile. Good question. Good question you should be asking me. Let's see. So Basic Island, no, Thassa, and then Basic Island. So I'm at 9, cycle down to 7, force down to 6, take 2 down to 4, then I can take 2 more, so that it's fine. But this does go bad in a number of ways if they have Cavern of Souls and a follow-up creature. I mean, they can't have Cavern of Souls in every game, right? Surely not. Oh, they're passing. So if I cast a spell here and they have something at instant speed, then I'm cooked. I do kind of like the thought of digging a card deeper. So I'm going to cast Brainstorm. Maybe Ponder would have been better. That lets me do stuff at instant speed. Okay, I'll put back Thassa's Oracle and Edge of Autumn. And I'll play my Basic Island and pass and hope there's nothing nasty coming in my end of turn here. Oh, but there is Disruptor Flute. Fuck. Yep. GG's. That is the game. Too bad. Yeah, I could have played around that by just not doing anything here, but maybe I should have read that like they don't just pass without having some kind of interaction. All right, off to game number 3 or round number 3. On the play for round number 3. All 3 rounds. That's lucky. Oh. I mean, I'll keep this, but this is not a pretty hand. But I mean, at the same time, we can protect ourselves against Thoughtseize. But I mean, like if they Thoughtseize us, our hand is pretty redundant against that anyways, I guess. So, all right, opponent's down to 6. I guess I'll play Sculling Tarnier. It's a blue mirror. Oh, oops. No, not conceding. I thought about maybe I should have surveilled here, but then at the same time, I don't think I need to open myself up to Wasteland. Alright, let's just pass. The Fetchland standoff is over. They're casting a spell, it looks like. It's another DRC. Okay, I think I will surveil here because I can no longer play around Wasteland anyways, if I want to keep making land drops. Let's get under City Sewers. No, I don't think I need a 5th land. Thank you very much. Cavern of Souls is fine. I'm not gonna just jam into Daze here. I'll pass. Maybe I should have played out Badlands to throw the scent off, that maybe I'm like Grixis control or something. They put Quarry Steelcutter into the graveyard. Okay, so they are going for Delirium. Makes sense. They can Ponder here. They get Delirium. No, another Brainstorm. So no Delirium this turn. And they've made their land drop. I'm just going to yield until end of turn here and do what they want. No, they hadn't made their land drop. What am I even saying? Never mind. So I think I will start casting Doomsdays now. I'll keep my fetch land back. I imagine I'll be needing that to cast Flusterstorm. They put a Daze in the graveyard. That does make me think they have a Daze right now. And if they don't pitch that Daze, then my Flusterstorm is kind of weak here. Okay, but they actually just let me do this. Hopefully they are not sitting on like double bolt here. If they are, then I'm dead, I think. All right, I'm gonna fetch I guess Underground Sea, and then put in 2 Edge of Autumns. Oh, not Personal Tutor. That was a misclick. That should be Consider. Okay, so the pile is going to be Thassa, Edge, Consider, and then like Underground Sea on the bottom. And we can fight for Consider. But yeah, if they have like 1 lightning bolt, probably doesn't do it right, but if they have 2 lightning bolts here, then it's bad news. I can Flusterstorm, I guess, but then I'm shuffling the deck, which is also not ideal. Okay. Delirium achieved here with the Ponder. That was to be expected. They shuffle. Okay. That's good. Especially also good if they don't, like, have another land. Lightning Bolt. Okay. I take 3. And they have the second Lightning Bolt. Okay. I have to Flusterstorm. And now if Thassa is the top card of the deck, I lose, and if she's not, then I think I win. Alright, so Lightning Bolt is countered here, and now we have to hope that Thassa is not the top card of the deck. Fingers crossed. Phew. I guess if they have Force of Will, then they get to win here. Okay, they didn't. Put Edge of Autumn in the graveyard, and cycle for Thassa. Thassa comes out through the Cavern of Souls. Alright, so we already had this matchup once, and I boarded in the Baragorths and the Crossas, and then I had a little bit of a nasty surprise when I learned that this is like this is symmetrical. Now we don't have to play this out though, right? Like I think I was just also caught off guard by the fact that I wasn't aware. I hadn't read the card properly. I still think this is an acceptable inclusion because we are still a Doomsday deck. I guess like having access to Lion's Eye Diamond when you have Crossa makes sense. So I'm gonna actually keep the Lion's Eye Diamond and the Consider in, and I'll board out Thoughtseize and go down to 2 cyclers. Yeah, let's try this. I guess I'll keep this hand. Delver of Secrets. Okay, I will fetch Basic Island and cast Ponder here. Drawing the red duel was pretty nice. I think I'll take another land and another Brainstorm. Alright, pass. No flip on the Delver. Probably, or maybe they drew that DRC. Okay, I don't want to lose 2 days here. If I don't have to. But will it be too late? Like if I don't make a move here and just play basic swamp? I think I will do that though. Like playing out Badlands and then casting Pyroblast, for instance, on the Delver, and then having Badlands Wastelanded next turn, then I'm stuck with a red card I can't cast in my hand. Okay, they get a Surveil here to see if they flip their Delver. They put Scalding Tarn in the graveyard, okay. Is it worth casting a Brainstorm right now? Using my mana? I think maybe it is. It's okay, it's okay. It's not great. The Street Wraith, I'm not really that interested in paying 2 life to draw a card. Let's see. Do they flip? They do flip with Ponder, which is also great for them in terms of getting DRC up and running. Now they just need to cast an instant here. That's not an instant, but it is a lot of look at cards. Okay, and they found a creature, so instant wasn't even needed. So I'll be at 12 after this attack, and then next turn I can maybe I'll have to probably Pyroblast the Delver just to take off some pressure here. I might just cast a Ponder first in case they have like Force of Negation and decide to get super aggro here. Doomsday, huh? I don't think I'm not sure if I'll have enough time for all this, but it's interesting. Let's try this. Let's play Badlands, and no, I will fire off the Pyroblast on their turn. If they have Force of Negation, they can cast it on their turn, but at least then they're tapping out. Wasteland, shucks. Yeah, that was double bad because now I want to play the cross up, but then my land drop has to be Volcanic Island, which makes it further away that I'll get to actually resolve Doomsday. And if they force this, I'll force right back because my force and days are going to be non-cards anyways, as long as this is in play. But I am just concerned that they just have Lightning Bolt and then move on with their life. Force will pitching days. All right, I'm going to let them surveil and then I'll force. Put away a Delver. Now they might have Pyroblast here. It would appear as though they did not. I don't think they have stuff that deal 1 damage. I think they have stuff that deals 3 damage. So giving it haste adds 2 damage now, and then 2 turns from now, I would have dealt that much damage. It probably isn't going to matter. No, I'll make it a 3-2 in case it ends up mattering. I'm not sure that it will. There's maybe a chance that if I find a Barrowgoyf off of this Brainstorm next turn, and they don't have a Lightning Bolt, then I have a chance, but I do worry that they have Lightning Bolt or find it, and then I don't have anything that can remove DRC. Okay, Lightning Bolt. But Lightning Bolt targeting what? Targeting the Crossa, okay. Is that because they have like a Consign Memory in hand? Alright, I'm gonna cast Brainstorm. I'm not gonna cycle the Street Wraith. Oh. So I can't even fetch here. So I think I'm just dead. Yeah, that's too bad. I'm gonna cast Duress just to get some info. Yeah, ooh, and Stifle. That's good to know about. Alright, I will concede. They did not see Barrowgoyf, so that's sort of a strategic advantage for me, or at least something that would have been a disadvantage for me if they had seen it. What do we think about Crossa? I think we keep in Crossa here. I think the likelihood that they'll be able to remove Barrowgoyf with it would have to be like Petty Theft is only a temporary solution, so hard removing it with Unholy Heat. I think they would, if they even have any Unholy Heat in their deck post board, it would be 1. I don't think it would be more than that. I'll keep these. And they're mulliganing the 6. Okay. Alright, I will just play a basic island here, and then next turn I want to be able to like brainstorm and then have basic swamp available. Love that this is a preordain, that it's not a creature, and then they're not holding up stifle here. They go bottom off of that. Okay, let's cast brainstorm. Oh yes. Alright, put away one Krasa. And maybe it's the both crosses actually. Yeah. And I'll pass. I might just draw one of them, but I'm not sure. Alright. Brainstorm it is. I would love it if they tap out here. I don't think they can realistically, they would have to have like a very specific set of cards to beat Force plus Days on this Barrowwolf. They're going to see my Krasa here. Do I care about that? Do I even want the Krasa? I think actually getting the Krasa is fine because it kind of just diversifies what they have to figure out. I'll draw Krasa. And I will, or will I? Yeah, I think I will not. Like I could have gotten the basic swamp, and I'm not doing that here. I am already sort of soft to wasteland. There's force of will. There is days. All right, we have Barrowgoyf, and we have a force of will to protect it next turn. Quarry Steel Cutter. That's fine. I mean, that is a card that impacts the board here, but I think Barrowwolf out-muscles this. Ooh, nice. And this is where I absolutely do not play out Krasa here with this Force of Will in hand. Like, if they have Lightning Bolt here, they might try and, like, double, like, block and bolt. It doesn't appear to be what's going on. And I think I take Street Wraith here just to get card advantage. All right, they concede. I get that. They didn't even know about the second Barrowwolf. All right, cool. Off to round number 4. All right, on the draw for once here, round number 4. I think we can keep this hand. It's lacking Doomsday and it's lacking protection, but what it's lacking in those aspects, hopefully the Ponders can make it up. Opponent on the turn 1 Thundering Falls. So I'm guessing it's like it's Quarry Steel Cutter tempo, or it is Show and Tell, and the Wasteland makes me think that is pretty well answered. I think I'm gonna fetch basic island here. Them milling over a Wasteland makes me think it's somewhat likely they have a Wasteland already. Let's grab this island here and get pondering. Well, that was pretty swell. Yeah, let's So here we have an interesting decision. If we think they're not black, we can put Doomsday into our hand. If they are black, we get massively blown out by a Thoughtseize. And if they aren't black, which I think is most likely, then the only punishment for leaving Doomsday on top of the deck is what's it called? Mishra's Bauble. But I think I will leave Doomsday on top. I think if they are on Bauble and they had one, I think they would have cast it last turn. So they might draw one, of course, but yeah, I don't know. They cast a Ponder, and Ponder doesn't shuffle. Volcanic Island, okay. I'm going to go ahead and say this is the third blue-red tempo deck we're facing this league. So now I have to decide whether or not to play out this Undercity Sewers and get a Surveil and get rid of the card that's on top of the deck, which I think might be a Polluted Delta, but I actually forget. I think I will just play this Ponder and play Scalding Tarn to disincentivize. Like, Daze is something they would be pretty incentivized to do here. Okay, let's shuffle these. I get Personal Tutor. So I could Personal Tutor for a Thoughtseize here if I wanted to. But I think I'm going to wait. Another DRC. Right. And a Brainstorm. Nice. Okay. So they still have their land drop here. They leave a card on top. They mill over Unholy Heat, but then leave a card on top. Okay. There is that Wasteland I kind of expected. Right, take one. They crucially have not been able to enable Delirium here. A third Dark Ritual is probably one too many. All right, I'm gonna do this Unholy Heat thing. That Unholy Heat, Undersea Sewers thing. Okay, let's get rid of this this personal sewer. I'm gonna cast Brainstorm. I don't like that because it's giving up the same turn win here, but I do need to get rid of some of these dark rituals, I think. So let's see here. I fetch down to 17, and then I cast Doomsday, and they force, and I force back. I'm down to 16, then I'm at 8, and they probably get Delirium, and then I'm dead to a Lightning Bolt. So I think I will get rid of these two dark rituals, and then I'll pass and hope to find like any kind of cantrip to enable the same turn win next turn. Surgical Extraction on Brainstorm. Well, that's certainly a play. Okay. Now I don't even have to fetch to get my shuffle. It does mean that some lines are off to me, but it's also a card they lose here. They do get the Delirium though. So that's pretty crucial. And they milled over Core Steel Cutter and then left a card on top of their deck. And they crunch in for 6 here. And now I have to really worry about Lightning Bolt. And they Wasteland, sure. I unfortunately only have one Surveil land in this list. Okay, let's see. A few options here. I'm gonna Duress here. If they, after this Duress is done resolving, have no interaction, I can Personal Tutor for Edge of Autumn. Lightning Bolt me. So Lightning Bolt takes me to 8 and actually cuts off Force of Will and Fetch land, I think. I don't think forcing here. Oh, bummer. They keep a card on top as well. I go to 8. I think I have to let this go. Let's see, what's this? So 4 stays Murktide, and they kept a card on top. And without Brainstorm, does getting Edge of Autumn even really do anything here? So I take the Force, and if what they kept on top is like Lightning Bolt or another counterspell, then I'm kind of in trouble here. I think I take the Force though, and I play out Petal, and I will Personal Tutor for Edge of Autumn, and then probably lose here. Okay, so what they kept was Ponder. Let's see. I can hope that they find a Wasteland and think that's important to like waste my fetch land. Okay, they bottom the 2 cards, and now here's Ponder. They have to find, I think, in order to feel safe, they have to find either Lightning Bolt to just finish me off, they shuffle, or Force of Will. Second Daze will also do it, but they don't know that. Okay, so they found a land, so I know their hand. So I think I get to win here, but let's see. Or do I? So I have 4 mana. 4 becomes 7. 7 becomes no, I have 4 becomes 6, becomes 3. And then I edge into yeah, then I'm cooked. Oh man, I almost have it right, but I don't. I just about don't have it because they extracted my brainstorms. That's so tight. Yeah, I don't think I can get this. I'm thinking like the problem is I am exactly 1 mana short of being able to play around Daze and cast a cantrip, which is what I need to do. I'm also 2 life points short here. If or I guess like 1 life point short, because if I had 1 more life, I could fetch now and then have the extra mana. But unfortunately, that is just not how the cookie crumbles, and that Daze is going to be good enough. Yeah, I think I'm just going to concede. There's no point in showing them the red that they haven't seen yet, which is what would happen if I tried to resolve Doomsday. So, and just to go through that, I had 4 mana available, I would go Dark Ritual, Doomsday. Um, Man, if I had kept a Dark Ritual, like so that I would have two. I can't remember now. I can't remember the exact composition of the like my current hand, but that might have worked instead of the Force of Will, I guess. But yeah, so I had 4 mana with Dark Ritual at 6, then 3 with Doomsday, and then cycling into the other cycler, like cycling into Edge. The Edge was in my hand, so I cycled into the other Edge, then cycled that into Thassa's Oracle. But then there are 3 cards in the deck. Yeah. Normally, or sometimes at least, I choose to try and like when I lose game 1 versus Delver, I don't show them the sideboard pivot, but I just think like Barrow Goyf is so good in this matchup that I think it's not worth not boarding in Barrow Goyfs. So let's do that. Board out the Jace, board out the personal tutors, and like a Force of Will maybe. It's not exactly what I did earlier. I think maybe the Thoughtseize I'd rather do. Yeah, let's try this. Oh, hang on, I'm missing one of the crosses. And then maybe I want like double Edge of Autumn here and I'll cut the 2 forces. I think that's what I did earlier. All right, here we go. Yeah, I think I keep this. I'll float the Scalding Tarn here to get the Surveil going. Turn 1 Ponder. I love to see that out of the tempo deck. So I will get Undercity Sewers here. There is an argument to be made to get Badlands to have both my red duels, as I have 2 red cards in my hand. I often say this, but I will repeat it, especially because a couple weeks ago, at time of you viewing this, I released a little article on my Patreon about the differences between paper play and online play, and sort of like a guide to what to look for when you're like if you're used to playing online and now you're playing in paper. This is one thing I really hate about the online experience is this exact situation. So see, Mishra's Bauble is looking at the top of my deck right now. And I want to fetch at end of turn. I want to fetch and get a Surveil land. If I was playing in paper, I would pick up my deck and then I would look at the top card of my deck, which would be legal for me to do. And doing so, I would know what my opponent had seen. So, like right now, if my opponent sees a Barrowgoyf, that's a pretty big piece of information for me to know that they know. But online, you can't do that. I don't know. Like once I shuffle and my deck is like, it gets ordered for me. So that's like, it's pretty annoying. But I am gonna do it anyways. But yeah, I really wish there was a way for that to not be that way here on MTGO. Let's get rid of this land. Lands are normally nice in this matchup, but I do also kind of want something here. Force of Will, not amazing. I think I will play out this Crossa now and probably give him haste. And if they force this, I'm fine with that. I'll take the card advantage and save my Pyroblast for like a Murktide Regent or a Force of Will targeting something more important. Daze, huh? I think I will trade cards for this. I guess they're thinking that the Daze is not going to be any good, which is nice, I think. I'll give it haste. This is like, if we get beyond 2 combat steps, then it will not have mattered. Maybe I should have given this the +1/+1. I'm very unsure about what to think about stuff like that because I think you just need more reps. But like if they just float a Dragon Trade Chandler, do I then think it's worth it to trade? Probably not, right? It's funny, like my opponent has 7 cards in hand and 1 land, and I have what you see here, and I very much do not feel comfortable. Yeah, they had a bolt. Fine. No land drop though. Okay, they just dazed us before. Do they have a second daze? I think I have to wait. They didn't have a wait. Like obviously, if they had a wasteland, they would have just wasted me now. So I think I'm gonna hang on to this. Now they have a land suddenly and a DRC, sure, which is delirious. Dark Ritual. Okay, I will spend a Dark Ritual casting this Barrowgoyf. They need double force basically here, which they could have. Well, they have 1 force at least. Let them surveil. And then Pyroblast, counter target spell if it's blue. Then left a card on top of their deck. Okay, but now they're fetching. Hoping this is like a Hail Mary brainstorm. Oh, no, it's interesting. We can Hail Mary the Edge of Autumn and hope to find a blue card to pitch to the force, but there are only 17, I think. Quarry Steel Cutter, okay. And a Lightning Bolt targeting me. Okay, sure. That triggers the Steel Cutter, And they have to attack with DRC, so I take 3. But now, like, the life gain. Oh, and I do find a blue card. I'm not gonna ponder here. I'm just gonna sit on this force blue card. Yep. And let's pass. And yeah, they concede. Barogoyf, just too strong. All right, cool. I I I feel pretty confident saying that I am not loving this Crossa. It has been weird and wonky at best, I think. But I really like right now. I wish the Crossas were like I don't know, Orcish Bowmasters, like 2 Orcish Bowmasters and a Shieldred or something. I honestly, and maybe it's just because they're not for this matchup. I think I'm actually going to board them out. And then I'm going to board in 2 more forces and maybe like a force of negation because I think a lot of this is going to be about resolving Barogoyf and then protecting it from Unholy Heat and Petty Theft. Ooh, holy moly. Okay. I guess I'll keep this. Put him against the 6. This is like this is by no means a beautiful hand, right? But it is interesting. Like if I could rip a daze here and if they tap out, I'd be pretty happy. DRC, okay. Cavern of Souls is also pretty exciting to have in your opening hand when you're playing 4 Barogoyfs. Alright, and we draw a Dark Ritual. Okay, let's try this. They only have 4 cards. There are limits to how much interaction they can have. If they have Force blue card days here, then it's pretty good for them. They do have Force and they pitch Brainstorm. I mean, if they have Force blue card days, they have the perfects. So, I mean, it looks like they don't. Alright, cool. We want Edge of Autumn. I think I'm just going to play like they don't have Consign to Memory in their deck. I'm just not going to care. Their resources are pretty low here. Is Consider or Street Wraith better here? Let's see. Let's say I draw Consider, then Consider away Street Wraith and draw a second Street Wraith, and then I pass, and then or not Street Wraith, Edge of Autumn, and then I draw Petal, and then, because like running Wastelands do kill me, like do beat me here. I think I'm gonna try this. We're on 20 life, 10 life as well, which is pretty nice. Okay, so we put Thassa on the bottom, and then a Lotus Petal, and then like Consider on top. I think it's just the thing we're going to be doing, and we pass and hope for the best. Like Lightning Bolt plus getting DRC Delirious, and I think they just have us, but they do have a Wasteland and a Ponder. Ponder also gets them Delirium, and they leave a card on top. Yeah, I mean, I think this might just do it for them, right? So I take 3, I go to 7. Then they Wasteland me. Then I take another 3 next turn, I go to 4. And then if they have Lightning Bolt, I go to 1, so I'm not quite dead yet. But if they have Daze or like Force of Negation here, I guess if they have Force of Negation, they don't have Lightning Bolt. Alright, and now we pass. I guess they would need Double Bolt here to finish us off. They do have second Wasteland. And now they Ponder. Okay, that's really good. That means they don't get to find Consign to Memory, but it does mean if they find a Daze or a Force of Will to fight over our Lotus Petal, then they also get to win. And they don't shuffle. So that does concern me. I have concerns. Alright, cycle Edge of Autumn, we draw the Petal. I go to 4, and now I play Lotus Petal, and if they have a way to counter this, then they win. And they do. Alright, GG's opponent. Nicely done. Alright, on the play for the final round. And let's go. Positive record is on the line. I'll keep this, and I'll fetch Underground Sea and cast Ponder here. All right, opponent mulled to 6. This username, it's either a Doomsday player or it's like an Eldrazi player. That's the vibe I'm getting. I can't remember. If I had another land here, I would Thoughtseize for sure, but I do need to like hit my second land drop. Jeez, it's no good. Shuffle these. Alright, well, let's hope we don't get wastelanded. No wasteland. Thank goodness. Alright, I think this is a Doomsday player. Alright, Dark Ritual happens. Doomsday gets Force of Willed. I think I'm gonna... Is it like... I'm gonna pitch a Brainstorm now, but then I wonder if they have Daze or Force, do I pitch Tutor or what? I think I pitch... I think I actually pitch Brainstorm here. Alright, their Doomsday is countered. It cost me a lot of cards. Alright, I'm gonna Thoughtseize them. Okay, so this is a like tempo Doomsday version. There's a lot of good stuff here. I think I'm gonna take the Flusterstorm. All those cards were basically pretty good. All right, I'm gonna consider it on my upkeep here. Let's get rid of the LED. Dark Ritual, nice. How about a land? Wow. Okay. Okay. So if I mean, I am gonna make this play here, but if they have another land, if that was a land they drew, or if they draw one now, then Murktide makes it so that I lose if I cast Doomsday, and probably lose no matter what. I don't think I can sort of accrue the resources needed. Oh, but they don't. All right. Well, let's see. Maybe they found a force or another Flusterstorm. Dark Ritual resolves. Okay, Doomsday resolved. Clutch. All right, so I'm gonna make this pile 3 cyclers, Thassa, and Cavern of Souls. And if they make Murktide next turn, then I am going to just put Thassa on the stack next turn. And if they don't, then I'll wait a turn and be able to do so through the Cavern of Souls. So that means we have to put Thassa or Cavern on the bottom. Well, there's the land. And here comes Murktide. So their hand is Limdal's Vault and 2 unknowns. And basically I just have to make my stands here now and put Thassa in play. And accept that I lose to a Daze or a Force of Will. Because they do have lethal. We go ahead and cycle the cards here. This is the play we have. And they had the Daze. Alright. On to the sideboard. I'm certainly not going to bring in Krasa versus the other combo deck, but having the 3 Pyroblasts is pretty nice. And now the question is, do I also want to board in the Barrogoyfs? Maybe a couple of them. Yeah, let's get rid of LED and consider. And we can go down on cyclers and probably some number of personal tutor. Maybe I cut all personal tutor actually. And then we add the Force of Negations and the 2 other Barrogoyfs. And let's try this. Alright. I can dig this. Let's try it. We go turn 1 Doomsday, turn 1 Duress, and then turn 2 Doomsday with Force backup. Meanwhile, opponent is down to 5 cards. Mulligan to 5 is rough. Alright, let's see. Let's have a look at things here. Force of Will, Ponder, Doomsday. Alright, I take the Ponder and I pass turn. I don't think I need to play around a Daze here. Like if they would have to draw the Daze for that to matter. If they drew a Dark Ritual, I have the Force of Will. So the only thing they could have drawn here that would really suck is a Flusterstorm. They are fetching. And they Force of Will pitch Brainstorm. I'm gonna Force of Will pitch Ponder. Keep my Daze. Alright. Let's get some cards here. And I wish I had boarded out Consider now. But no, it's fine. Let's get I guess Ponder. So I draw the Ponder, I cast the Ponder, I draw a Cycler, and then the next turn I win. And there is no reason to put Thassa on top of Cavern here. Cavern needs to be in play before I can Thassa on the stack. Here we go. If they like don't play out their second land and cast a cantrip, like if they draw a cantrip, I am just gonna Daze that. But that didn't happen. Now Limdal's Vault is online from the opponent. Pause on my upkeep here, but no surgical extraction. Okay. Alrighty. Let's just draw the Street Wraith and we'll pass. No Limdal's Vault. Disappointing. Alright, here we go. I think it's Consign to Memory or Bust here from the opponent. We can simulate having a Pyroblast in hand. Play the Cavern and hopefully win. Alright, so we take game 2 and now we have to win on the draw here for game number 3. And also against presumably an opponent that doesn't build to 5. This setup is probably fine as it is. Okay, this is a pretty unexciting hand, but I will keep it. They also keep 7, and they just go land go. They probably are going for a Surveil land. Ugh. 4th land here, not exciting. Gonna cast Ponder. I like the second Brainstorm. I don't really like the other 2 cards. I'm actually gonna shuffle here. Barrogoyf. Okay, well that's something. Like, in order for Barrogoyf to be good, we need some controlling elements. Like, we need counterspells, basically. Okay, they keep the Surveilled card on top. Like, it's not much good going for Barrogoyf with the current hand we have, because we're basically giving the opponent, like, free reigns for several turns. Dothy Voidwalker. Well, that sucks. Okay. It means we have to rely on the opponent's graveyard for Barrogoyf. Um, let's cast this brainstorm. Holy moly, this is really bad. Let's get rid of a dark ritual and we'll hang on to the Thassa's Oracle, I guess. And I'm not gonna play into days here, so I'm just gonna pass. I would love to find Cavern of Souls, I guess. Okay. Ponder unfortunately doesn't grow my Barrowglyphs because there's already sorcery in the graveyard. I needed the opponent to cast an instant to make this at least a 3/4. Okay, they don't shuffle. And another Dothy. Okay. I mean, my one Barrowglyph is probably gonna be able to erase that, but I would like to find some protection here. Let's get Undercity Sewers. Oh, come on, so many lands. Days I'll take. I'm gonna just Dark Ritual out one Barrowglyph here. And then I would kind of be thrilled if they fight over this and then I get to Days. When they do force. I think I float a black mana here and then I Daze back and pick up my Undercity Sewers. And now Goyfs are 3/4. And I do say Goyfs in plural because I have another one. Alright, classic Doomsday Mirror unfolding here. We do have to be cognizant of what we put in the exile zone for them to buy back. I'm not gonna lie, I'll be pretty disappointed if they just Doomsday us here. Not only will that like shrink our Queefs massively, but also like after all this fun, then they just Doomsday. That's a little bit disappointing. All right, something's happening. They are fetching. Like a Murktide would also like make my Queefs tiny, and they do Doomsday. Disappointing. Okay, and now they can just win because my exile zone, my void has a brainstorm. I mean, they can try. They would have to. They can cast a daze and a dark as well, and a brainstorm here if they want to. So if they have Lion's Eye Diamond left in their deck, then they could probably just go for it here and feel pretty safe about that. All right, they are done making their pile. Let's see if we're playing more turns than one or what. And now they are going off, so they are also playing Barrowglyph. I only see two and two Murktides. Interesting. All right, let's see what they do. They cast a Dark Ritual. Okay, cool. Okay, so they have Barrowglyph. Fine. I draw a land. Super duper. All right, let's let's Undercity Sewers here. Don't want a Dark Ritual, and I guess I will attack. So they'll trade Goyfs here, I'm sure. And I can mill over 2 cards here, but that does also give them more stuff in the void. Not sure what I'm hoping to hit. Like another. I'm actually just not gonna mill here. All right. And now they have 1 card, but they also have the stored. Oh, okay. That's fun. More Barrowglyphs. And I keep drawing lands. Grand. I think I am just gonna attack here. I don't see the point in not attacking. Yep, they block. And I will just pass, representing Red Blast here. And they are passing, that's interesting. But not attacking. I guess they're keeping open their options. They know they're not gonna win with combat. Okay, and if I I'm just yeah. I have to have drawn something by now in order for this to be competitive. Yep, they consider like a brainstorm would obviously have been the best thing I could have drawn last turn, I think. And here we go. They just need to finish it off here. They might be like trying to work out if there's a way they can beat, like if I'm actually sitting on like consign a memory or something, but if they knew what I had, they would know they didn't have to do that. And they don't mill or surveil away a card here. They just draw the top of their card, or the top of their deck with consider. And now there's not really a lot that this Dothy can do. They can't cast the Brainstorm now because they have like fewer than 3 cards in the deck. And they have Thassa. GG's opponent. All right. Okay, so let's go over this. I already mentioned it. I don't think that this card is good enough to do what we needed to do in order to justify its inclusion. Um, like there are a lot of lightning bolts floating around in Legacy currently, which has not been the case for a pretty long time. And there's also just like there's a lot of creature removal. So boarding this in versus stuff that can remove creatures, but where they also have counter spells, yeah, I don't know. And then the fact that they make everything uncounterable when we're also a Force of Will Daze deck is not. I'm not in love with that. It's obviously a very powerful effect for us, but the fact that opponents can let this resolve and then kind of like with Allosaurus Shepherd, they can just sit on a removal spell and a counter spell, and then they have all the control of the situation. Yeah, I don't know. I don't